Good evening, good afternoon, wherever you find yourself in this weird, wild, wacky world of ours. Welcome to the exciting installment of Darks in Dublin. It's funny how different places can mean different things to different people. Sometimes a specific place or a specific time of day, a specific song or taste can bring back a memory that lingers just within you, resonating in the deepest, darkest place in your soul. Well, the bar in which we find ourselves now, McShaughnessy's, located just off the centre of Grafton Street, is itself one of those places. It's been here for time immemorial. Many of the Dublin city patrons cannot remember a time when the bar did not stand and when its patrons were not welcomed with smiles, warmth, and laughter. It's just one of those places, a place to be quote unquote quintessentially Irish. It's also, or so you have all been told, those of you who have not been here, the waypoint by which you can enter the Dublin City Library, rather the arcane library of Dublin, where it is many tomes and manuscripts are kept, so that magi may educate one another or indeed educate themselves. For those of you who have never been here before, well, you're not exactly sure how you get in, so needless to say, it might just be beneficial to hang out there until such time as you see someone going in, as it were. For those of you who are in the know, you will know that Siren, the library's keeper, or Master Siren, as people insist on calling him, has now recovered suitably from his ordeal, having dealt with the entities known, having dealt with certain entities who plagued his library. He is now recovered enough so that guests are now welcome to attend again. With this in mind, we will join our scene as our fair weather friends, magi of the ages, proverbial annoyances to me, all of the above, enter the bar. We shall go in the order you are on my screen. So, Sketch, buddy, you're up first.
Probably striding in, unzipping his leather jacket, rubbing his face. Sketch just walks in. He looks tired, looks kind of shaggy. As he's walking along, probably not really paying much attention to the patrons, just kind of more on a mission to go see who he has to see. Just kind of, if people wave at him, he waves back, but he just looks more removed from the world is the best place to describe it.
All right. Next on our list, we have, I'm going to assume that Yuki will bring the poor new Stefanos with her.
Oh, yes. Yep, she is escorting him.
Okay.
Yep.
Cool. Next we will have Kevin.
Kevin is part of the current trio of Yuki, the new guy, and himself. He has no idea what he's doing here. He's heard about some of the things that do at this place, but the man himself has no idea what's going on. So he's forced, I say, to defer to his fellow beatstick.
Excellent. Next, we have Mr. Gallo.
Mr. Gallo is already in the library, perusing the Hermetic Law section, looking up various old...
I will point out, you are not, sir, because you have no idea how to get into the library.
Oh,
There's a
local and you. Okay, fine. Is arriving wearing his formal legal dress as he's come straight from work. So he's in the dress of a modern barrister.
That is entirely fair. And last but not least, we have Winray.
Winray walks into the quintessentially Irish pub, and he sticks out like a sore thumb because he is gaunt, pale, and looks like he hasn't slept in days. He's gonna walk up to the bar, and he's gonna order himself a something off of the Imperial draft list and a shot of whiskey.
Very well. The bartender behind the bar, as I said, she may have been beautiful 10 years, 15 years ago. She's still comely for a woman of her age. However, most of the beauty has now faded, and she'll look up at you all and she'll say, as she serves the drinks, she'll pour pints, and she has an easy smile for those of you she knows, and she'll say, "So, new blood, I see."
Hey, Evan.
hmm Oh, I completely forgot about you, Chris. My apologies.
Yeah.
I'm very tired. You'll have to forgive my brain not working.
That's fine. But honestly, since Ryan was the last there with Yuki and Kevin and Stefanos, yeah, he probably would have followed them. So
That's entirely fine. As you all converge, once again, she will say to those of whom she knows, she will give very cordial greetings as she pours drinks and whatever else have you. So, new blood, I see. And how are you, Mr. Winwright? See, I remember those who actually, bothered to tip.
I've had better days. Had better weeks. Work on life been definitely less than kind to me.
Why, what's the matter with you, son?
Having to make those tough personal decisions at work. Yeah, you know how it is working in a law firm. Sometimes you get cases that just don't sit right with you. Can morally oppose it, but I still got to make rent.
I get what you mean. I get what you mean. She will continue to. She'll continue to search, and she'll look over at Sketch as she says, "And you, love, you look like you need a drink more than most people I've seen."
Sure. Yeah. That would be great. Rubbing his face.
She'll put down what would Sketch normally what would his normal order be?
He normally drinks cider, so he probably would order Bulmers or some shit like that.
She'll put down the drink and she'll kind of put her hand on his shoulder and she'll say, "What's going on with you, son? What's you have a very long face and that's not like you."
Like sniff, rubbing at his nose. No, nothing. Just long couple of days. Rubs at his nose again.
I suppose that's right. It's been tiring for all of us, I suppose, but on the bright side, everything's back to normal within, so at least himself is happy with that, I think. Well, anyway, I've been keeping you long enough. I've no doubt that you want to go inside. For those of you who don't know, my name is Mavis. It's very nice to make all of your acquaintances. I'm kind of the door guard here. I make sure that there's no funny business and whatever else have you, so you all seem like fine, upstanding peopleages. I'll just let you know now, in case you don't know, that there is absolutely, positively, quantifiably no weapons or any armaments of war allowed within. So if you have any, I would very much like, she will put a large wooden box on the table, that you place them in here immediately. Thank you.
Stephanos is actually going to pull out a small knife, which is not his, and put it in there.
Yuki goes into her jacket and pulls out a long sword, and it's scabbard and places it in the box.
Sketch takes out two of his knives and just rubbing at his nose again.
Ryan will, reach in and grab a police gun that, if anyone's familiar with a gun that is a pistol. And if anyone's familiar with the Garda, is a standard issue Garda pistol, which is a Sig Sauer. And put that in the box.
Wonderful. With that in mind, she will lead you through the length of the pub until you come to a very small kind of an no, it's not enclave. It's alcove. There is the word. That is located at the other end of the common room. It has a large curtain over it, as it's clearly meant to be used for private parties, etc. On the inside of this little sectioned off area, there are 3 portraits that hang on the wall. One of which depicts a lovely forest scene. The other of which depicts a kind of a moonlit sky over the raging ocean. And then there is a picture that is simply a door, a rather large picture, very obviously a portrait. But as you enter, she will pull over the curtain. One of you who knows, there is a specific notch on the table that you need to press or put your palm upon. When you do, the picture behind you of the door will very slightly start to shimmer, and you will have to hike yourself up by standing on the sofa that is in front of it in order to step through the portal, or in order to step through the gateway.
Yeah, tattooed hand on the notch, and then we'll just step through.
All right. As you guys step through, you will stand in front of the door that is pictured, except unlike as it was before, it is now a clearly real door. For those of you who have any correspondence site up or Prime site up, Holy Mary, Mother of God. It is covered in wards, very intricately laid, and it is also covered in the entire surface. The entire surface is made of Prime. For sketch, everything appears to be made of ephemera. The walls are very, very shiny. Okay. And as you step through the door, what you guys will see is 3 huge, and I emphasize this, the windows themselves are each the size of a football field on an opposite cathedral-like wall that surrounds you, that extends higher than your eyes can perceive into the darkness above, through which light streams in a fractal of colored patterns through the stained glass. There is no image to the stained glass themselves. They merely throw light down to what looks to be a large, massive cathedral-like space built in grand Gothic architecture. There are hundreds of bookshelves that lay beneath you that can be seen stretching for what you assume to be miles in each direction. It is a truly breathtaking sight, and as you take a breath of air there, you can immediately tell that Dorothy, not only are you not in Kansas anymore, but you don't think you're on Earth anymore. This is for people who have not been to it. At which point you will see a tiny little glass-shaped golem look up from where it was sitting next to the door, and it will say in a very kind of scratching voice, almost as if, 2 panes of glass rubbing together, "Ah, welcome to the Dublin City Occult Library. May I see your library cards?"
Winrate's gonna hand his over.
"Thank you, Mr. Winrate."
Yep, same sketch.
"Thank you, Mr. O'Hare." He does little grabby hands at you. Grabby hands.
I'd like to apply for a library card.
"Oh, by all means, sir. You really have to speak to the librarian."
Where would I find them?
"They are currently..." He appears to concentrate for a moment. "They are currently in their office. Would you care for me to show you the way?"
Thank you. Please see to these others first.
He looks up at Stephanos and gives grabby hands again.
I do not have a card yet. First visit.
"Oh, I see." Once again, Kevin, you get grabby hands.
I'm in the same
All right.
boat as the other 2.
"Oh,
I need to apply for one as well.
ah. In that case, gentlemen, if you would care to follow me." He has this adorable way of walking that literally kind of plods him from side to side. And like bloop, 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 bloop.
Say when you're done with them, tell the head librarian I need to see him. I can wait for people. You just shrug.
"Well, why don't you come with me and tell him yourself?"
All right. Jeez. You know, he starts walking.
I was going to say, you know that this walk takes you people about 10 minutes. It takes me about 20.
Yeah, Yuki will follow after them because Stefanos.
Yuki does have a library card.
Ah, yes. I thought she did.
I mean, if it's going to take you longer, one of us could carry you.
I am an automaton, sir. I shall automaton as I automaton.
All right.
Just people trying to help.
Yes. You were led through the library, through the many different labyrinthine bookcases that seem to stretch and twist in all kinds of forms and in all kinds of directions. There is definitely order here, but it is definitely an organized chaos. Eventually, you will come to a small circular section of the library in which you will see a beautiful apple tree growing from a circle of grass and dirt that has been laid in the center. At which point, the automaton will kind of wumble past it. It has apples on the tree if anyone cares to take them. They look delicious apples. Delicious.
Takes one. Doesn't even roll compulsion. Takes one. Mine. As he eats as he's walking.
That's entirely fair. You are eventually brought into another small circular space that just has a desk and a number of chairs in it. That looks quite comfortable. There is a large golden cage. However, the golden cage currently sits empty. There is a drinks cabinet, and there is a large grandfather clock seated behind the desk. And he will say, "The librarian should return shortly. Please make yourselves at home."
Thank you.
Ryan will look at the automaton. What is the policy on smoking in this facility?
Don't light anything on fire. And use an ashtray.
Okay. Can Ryan find an ashtray?
There's an ashtray on Siren's desk.
Ah, good. Ryan's gonna light a cigarette and sit near the ashtray.
And to answer your question, there's not really any chimerical reality here. It's a place of pseudo realities where they all overlap anyway. So there's not really a chimerical reality as such. It's a horizon realm which kind of keeps its own weird laws on those kinds of things.
It's its own bubble of fuckery.
Its own bubble made entirely of fuckery. Yes.
In my view, that's quite jarring because I'm come from a world which is completely overlaid with this stupid chimerical reality, and now we're in a place without any.
Hurrah! From behind one of the bookshelves will step this man, who some of you know. Ah, buongiorno.
Good evening.
He is very obviously dressed in his cleric's outfit, for those of you who wish to know. As a matter of fact, he also is he's famous in the sense he is a local figure of incredible political import. He is the Archbishop of Dublin, Archbishop de Calvorne.
Mr. Gow was stand in response and not slightly. Good day, Your Grace.
Ah, buongiorno. It is. He will look at the assembled and he will say, "Mr. Winray, Miss Yuki, and Mr. Sketch, I am led to understand that I owe you a great debt as it pertains the aiding of my son in his time of need."
Yes, that is correct.
I am not
Probably.
I am not a man to forget these actions as they are done. Should you ever require any service of me that is within my power to grant, it will be done.
Thank you, sir. Your Grace.
I really appreciate that.
Sketch just nods slowly.
Having a favor from an archmage is generally a very valuable thing.
Yeah. Oh yeah. He's planning.
Oh God, of course he is.
Oh no, Sketch.
What do you want, Sketch? All the money!
Everything.
What you-
Anything I can
How about-
steal.
How much is all the money? 10 minutes in the Vatican vault.
Oh God,
Quick.
not that again.
Sketch will look up very calmly. You did want to see me.
See, I did. He will say, allow me to deal with one or two of the others, and then you and I shall have a brief chat.
Just inclines his head.
He will look at the others and he will say, you will forgive me. As I said, my name is Archbishop de Calvornay. I am also the senior spokesman and representative of the 9 magical traditions located within Dublin. Many of you I know, some of you I don't. He will extend his hand to Stephanos, for example.
Oh, yes. He'll shake the hand. Like, okay, now he knows who this guy is. He wasn't sure before. I sent you an email earlier. I apologize. I did not realize we'd be meeting so soon.
Oh, it is quite agreeable. No offense has been caused, I assure you, but it is a pleasure to make your acquaintance. I'm led to understand that you are, for lack of a better term, incredibly recently awake.
Yes.
Interesting. Well, if there's anything that I can do in order to help you find your feet, I consider it my duty to do so.
It is much appreciated. I will keep that in mind.
Yes, I have no doubt. He will then extend his hand to Kevin.
Kevin will take it. Kevin Grant of the Akashayana.
Ah, yes. I have heard much about you, Mr. Grant. You are a man who seeks something, though he does not know the path upon which he walks.
That is certainly one way of putting it.
Indeed. See, I understand that oftentimes finding one's path is difficult when the road itself seems to be marked with so many footprints. You don't know where it is you should stand.
Kevin just has this apprehensive look on his face now, like this exact one.
And he will say, but my apologies. I know you by reputation, Mr. Gallo, though we have not met personally.
I am honoured that my reputation has reached your ears, Your Grace. A pleasure.
Indeed, you are currently embroiled in matters that I fear I may have instigated, so you have my apologies.
I was honoured to be asked to take part in such a high-profile case. It is well, it is so rare that such a complex hermetic legal case comes around to be worked on.
See, indeed. And I was forced to contact my old friend, Magister Toth, on the matter, but then again, he is an honourable individual, and I have no doubt that you and he will find justice in this matter.
That is my sincere hope, regardless of any concerns the accused may have.
You'll raise an eyebrow and he'll say, accused?
Oh,
You actually note that he appears genuinely surprised.
well, not all members of not all people, especially the young, have quite the same faith and confidence in the hermetic legal system.
No. I think you misunderstand. Which case is it that you think I'm speaking of?
The case I have been asked to act as prosecutor for against the Meronita Magus on a long series of charges.
No.
Oh,
You misunderstand me, my apologies. I am the instigator of the Grand Tribunal, the matters it pertains the house deny.
Ah,
See.
yes, certainly. Yes, certainly. Perhaps even higher profile case. I have not been formally asked to participate as of yet, but yes, I expect I will be embroiled in it.
I have no doubt. However, once again, I have no doubt that your dogged pursuit of justice will win out in the end.
And I hope that both those cases remain separate. It is unfortunate that certain parties have been trying to link the two.
Yes, but then again, such is the rambunctious nature of youth, no? He will very casually, I'm trying to think, for new person, okay. We are currently in the Dublin City Occult Library, which is a Horizon realm that you get through a bar in Dublin city centre. It is a huge library. It extends for many miles in its own pocket dimension.
Nice.
People come here in order to speak to the head librarian. However, in the process, they've also met the head of the 9 mystical traditions in the city, who is pictured here, who is having a brief conversation with them.
And tea.
I see.
What was that, Saul?
I said, and he should be having some tea.
He is not, however, drinking tea at the moment.
Darn it.
But as he hasn't met you before, the Archbishop will extend his hand to the new virtual adept, and he will say, "It is a pleasure to make your acquaintance, though I don't know your name."
I'm Kevin Warwick. He takes the guy's hand. Please call me Kurzweil.
As you wish, Mr. Kurzweil. It is a pleasure to make your acquaintance. And what brings you to the city?
Well, I'm rather fresh to the scene, so I thought I should maybe come and introduce myself, get to know others. You know, I'm kind of an awkward individual. You'll have to excuse me. But yes, hi people, whoever can hear me. I'll try not to bolster my voice because I am in a library.
Yes, of this I have no doubt, but it is still a pleasure to meet you. I was most disappointed to hear of the unfortunate death of Mr. Elder. It was most unfortunate.
At that
Yes.
point, Winright looks up and goes, "Wait, what?"
He will very casually turn and he will say,
His jaw doesn't say anything.
"The death of Mr. Eric Elder. I was most grieved to hear about that. He was a pleasant individual."
Blink, blink, blink.
Wait, didn't I see him at that ball the other day? Wow. He's gone already? That's so horrible.
See, I'm not exactly sure what happened to him. I was merely told that he had passed on.
Yes, rumors say that he was lost in the internet. His body got fractalized.
I see. I shall have to say a beatification of my soul. I hope that God grant him mercy and grant him solace, and may his family find the way through this dark time. You'll see him make the motion of the cross.
Oh. Like, Winright's just holding the beer in his hand, and he is slack-jawed like this. This hit him and stunned him.
Now then. The Archbishop will put his hand on Sketch's shoulder. Shall we step over here, my boy?
Stand up slowly.
Once again, if you guys actually are interested, this guy has a very, very, very comforting resonance.
Yay!
He does.
So, Winright will be comforted by the resonance and not freak out and break down.
The Archbishop will. Sorry, continue, guys. Just.
Oh, yeah. What's it? Kurzweil comes up and puts his hand on the guy's shoulder. Just kind of pats on him. Hey, man, it'll be okay.
The fuck are you?
I knew the same guy you did. Not for long, but you know, life is a series of moments.
No, really. Who the fuck are you and why are you touching me?
Sorry. He takes his hand away and goes off.
Perhaps you should release yourself, sir.
I think he said he was, what was it, Kurzweil of the Adepts? Something?
Yes.
I'm just going to steal the scene very briefly as the Archbishop and Sketch step away to the side, because then after that I just want to do some other things and go to the bathroom and such. So he'll step aside with Sketch and he'll say, "Why is it I get the distinct impression that there's something you either want to ask or something you want to understand, my boy?"
It's a bit of both, really.
Well, how may I help?
Well, you said I can call in a favor, and then I need a favor.
What do you need?
I need you to get someone out of Dublin.
You may have to be slightly more specific.
My sister. The technocrats got a bit more aggressive, and she's not one of us, but she matters, and I need her safe.
So you wish me to send her somewhere else to keep her safe, see?
And wipe her memory of me.
You will see him. He will very slowly contemplate. You'll see the eyes working. He has brilliant blue eyes, almost sky blue. And he'll say, "Is that a wound that your heart can bear?"
No, but it's what has to be done. I've caused enough pain for her already.
That is noble, beyond the bounds of nobility, young one. You'll see him work his jaw, thinking, and he'll say, "You wish her to not remember you, but do you wish her to know her life, or do you wish me to give her another?"
Give her another. She's had enough pain for one lifetime. She deserves a chance to be happy.
I can do this, if that is what you desire. And in payment for the debt, as you showed my son kindness, I will do so for you. But let me ask you a question. And he'll lean against the bookcase. He'll say, "Do you know anyone who was adopted as a child, a baby?"
Shakes his head.
Well, I want you to contemplate that for a moment. That is often an act of selflessness on behalf of a parent who can no longer care for the child. It is a heartbreaking experience wherein they must give up a piece of themselves, their blood, in order to see that they can have a better life elsewhere. This is essentially what you wish to do for your sister. You wish for her to have a better life. You wish for her to be able to reach for the dreams to which she can aspire, etc. However, there will always be times when he will say, as he puts a hand on Sketch's shoulder, a sight, a sound, a memory, her birthday, things like this, when it will be hard for you in order to simply push that pain aside or deeper within you. And I cannot be and will not be responsible for the actions that you take due to your grief.
That's my burden to bear, and I'll bear it. I'm not asking you to worry about it. I will handle it, and I will deal with it. I have my ways to manage.
He will say, very well. I will give you one piece of counsel. I want you to go from this place when you are done with your business. And I want you to spend a day with this sister of yours. Take her wherever you wish. Go wherever you like. I will make sure that you are kept safe. But then when that day is over, when you look into her eyes, and you understand the price that you must pay, then you must ask me to do this thing again. And you must say it without tears in your eyes. Do you agree?
Nod.
He will put a hand on Sketch's shoulder and he'll say, once again, my child, what it is you've asked for is the most noble thing a man can say. To sacrifice something so dear so that someone else may have a happier life. There is no higher noble sentiment.
Just nods again, very slowly. Thank you.
You're very welcome. He will kind of pat him on the back before they return to the group, at which point he will say, now, if you will excuse me, I have important matters to see to. I was here attending to my son, but he will be back in a few minutes, and I have other business to attend to, so you will kindly excuse me.
Winraid's gonna bow his head and go, when you are free, I'd like to speak to you. I need some counseling. Not as a magi, but I need some spiritual guidance.
So you're saying that as opposed to the head of the traditions, you need me as a priest?
Yes.
He'll nod and he'll say, would it... I knew Mr. Eric Elder of old when he was a younger man. We were both younger men. I think I shall have to host a funeral service for him.
Well, not probably, but it's on other matters. That is just that's a new one.
As you wish.
I appreciate.
He will then politely nod to the group before you will see him stroll off down the corridor, very, very relaxed. Evan has to go to the bathroom, so feel free to roleplay amongst yourselves till I get back.
So, Kurzweil says, I'm kind of worried about my familiar. She was created with me when I was awakened. She's too advanced for me, technologically speaking. If she becomes broken, I couldn't fix her. And I wouldn't be able to forgive myself. Does anybody here know enough about machines to maybe patch her or something should she become broken? She's my guardian. I figure it's just a matter of time.
Winraid will raise his hand and kind of like wave.
Oh, hello.
Machines, computers, kind of what I do.
Yeah, this is Galatea. She's my companion, my familiar, my guardian.
Nods. She's
And
cyborg?
Android.
Full robot?
Yeah.
No meat, all machine?
Yeah, she's a machine.
Okay.
And yeah, she's apprehension. She's a wonderful thing. I can't even begin to grasp. If you would help me in this case, I would definitely owe you big time.
Stephanos is actually going to look over at Yuki and just kind of whisper over, "He seems very nice, the bishop."
He is a good man. He is a man of faith, and he is intolerant of infernalists. But don't go making any deals with any demons, and you'll be okay.
I don't think I would want to do that, no.
Everyone is nice until the silk screen closes. Guard yourself.
Just got to point at Kevin, nod his head.
That is a fair
Got a point.
assessment.
Winright will look over at Sketch.
Yeah, he's just
Kinda
sitting there
waving.
quietly. He'll Sketch like takes him like about 10 minutes to notice you, and then you just do this meek little like, oh hey, as he's mid inhaling.
He'll walk over, hand him a Red Bull.
Takes a drink. How you holding
Right.
up, buddy? I'm alright. Living.
Well, I don't know. I've spent the last couple of days in a kind of a stupor. Haven't really slept well, surviving on caffeine and grief. Then had to make calls. Was not happy with.
Yeah, same here. Except mine wasn't caffeine based. Rubbed his nose.
I can tell.
I'm sorry about Eric, man. I was there.
This is the first I've heard of it.
It just happened so quickly, you know? One minute we were there and boom.
Where was there?
Digital web.
Place is scary. Place is uncontrolled.
Yeah.
And if you don't do shit right. So was it like a static storm? Did a sector blow?
A fucking nuke went, man. Like, I don't know what happened. We were all doing dancing and everything, and kaboom! Like he just blew the fuck up.
Wow.
That could be a number of things, but
I don't know. There was all white noise and shit afterwards, and he vanished, man. He just fucking vanished.
Yeah, no, sounds like he got a heart. Were you guys just like brain brainwaves in, or were you like whole suit?
I think he was in. Me and this other person, Suka, whatever the fuck her name is, were like VR in that type of shit.
But he was. Oh man, that's not good.
No.
Pass sector.
Like the rest of us were barely lucky to get out alive, you know?
Yeah, no, that's yeah, no, the web's intense, much like the Umbra. Those are weird places. But the web's got weirder laws. You'd be surprised.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I know you guys were, denying him. Rubs his face.
Well, sorry you had to witness that. I've seen a couple of crashes and seen some bad stuff in my time out there on the web.
Yeah.
Also, the Monster Hunter server is terrifying. I don't recommend it. Ever.
Oh, no, I'm not going near that again. No, I'm just going to stick to regular highs rather than computer highs from me. Thank you.
Fair. Hey. Makes me wonder if... whatever. It's happened.
Yeah. Kind of just look around the room, like still twitching and rubbing at his face.
So, I have a question, OOC, for the group. Are all of the ship scenes completed?
No, they are not. Only one has been done.
Only one's done? Okay.
And it's not done as, like, essentially, they haven't happened yet until all three have happened. It's always in the future.
Gotcha. Okie dokie. That'll, some game servers are fun. There are some safe places in the web, but for the most part, it's all shenanigans.
If they were in a safe space.
The worst part of it.
I found a new picture I'm going to use for Siren. Just forget the Lord of the Rings writing in the background of it.
Oh, but
I love it.
Ooh, nice.
I like that picture a lot.
There you go. You will see a very, very tired-looking Siren. He's actually like Siren was never a large person, but even on his slight frame, it looks like he's probably lost about 20 to 25 pounds, and his face appears stretched and gaunt as he makes his way down through the bookcases. He's walking with the aid of a cane, and he looks like he's got a very definite limp. Well, good evening, or good afternoon. I don't exactly know what time it is. My apologies. Oh, yes. He will walk behind his desk, and he will sit into his chair. He will attempt to move his chair, to move it under the desk, but he actually appears too weak to move his chair. So he keeps trying, and it just keeps failing.
Win
He
rate
will-
gets us
will-
there.
Yeah, I see
shortage.
three people converging to move Siren's chair for him.
Oh.
We mob the chair. The chair collapses.
Siren dies residual bashing damage to the Archbishop.
No.
He will. The chair will be moved under the table. He weighs very, very little, and he will look up at you. He will nod thankfully before he'll say, "Oh, I see there are new faces. My apologies. My name is Siren. Welcome to my library, or the library, I suppose. Don't be technical."
My name's Ryan Pierce.
It's very nice to meet you, Mr. Pierce. Oh,
Pleasure.
by the way, I'd recommend taking 2 steps to the left.
He'll take 2 steps to the left.
As you do so, a parrot barrels from behind you, flying at very high speeds until it lands on Siren's shoulder. If you had been standing there, the bird would have headbutted you as it came around from behind one of the library stalls. Thank you. Hello, Zephyrus. The bird will sit on his shoulder. He will pet the bird absentmindedly with the 2 fingers.
Is that bird a spirit?
Yes, actually it is.
Yay.
He will then look at the others and he will say, "Now then, who else is new? Oh, I don't know many of you. Please, may I offer you drinks or anything?" He goes to stand up to pour you drinks and kind of fails at it.
Yuki will hold up a hand. Please, Siren, I can serve the drink.
Oh, if you say so. He does, in fact, have a very nicely stocked drinks cabinet sitting next to him. It is
wonderful.
very... He'll extend his hand out, though people will have to come to him at the table. He'll extend his hand out first towards... extend his hand out to Kevin first, and he'll say, "I don't know you either. My apologies. It's very nice to meet you."
It's quite fine. Kevin Grant of the Akashiana.
As you walk forward to shake his hand, I'm not even going to make you roll perception alertness for this. Through his wrists, you see huge puncture marks, almost as if this guy was literally and figuratively crucified. They are very unpleasant. They appear to have been healed over as much as they can, but yeah, no, there are still very nasty scars there.
He doesn't say anything about it. The man suffered enough. He the handshake. He does take it into consideration in terms of the handshake not being too firm, as it were, but otherwise doesn't make any commentary.
This guy can barely muster a grip. Let's phrase it like that. He can just about hold your hand. He can't actually put any energy into gripping.
Okay.
But he will smile very, very politely and very, very happily at the handshake before he will turn to the next person, and he'll say, "Yes, as I say, one of you at least I know via reputation, though I've never met you, Mr. Gallo. I'm led to understand that we have given you certain books in the past, though I can't recall you ever being my guest here."
I believe that's correct, yes. A pleasure to finally meet you in person.
He will hold out his hand again.
Again, Mr. Gallo will very lightly accept and shake the hand.
You will also see the gruesome marks on his wrists.
Mr. Gallo will raise an eyebrow, but is polite enough not to comment. In his own head, he's thinking, stigmata.
Do you actually ask him if he has stigmata?
No, because I had no. Mr. Gallo has tact, so he's thinking that, but not saying it.
That would end in sad ways, as I'm pretty sure Yuki would punch him into the ground. There wouldn't even be magic involved. It would just be in the man at the back said everyone attacked and it turned into a ballroom blitz.
Mm-hmm.
Next, he will hold out and he'll say, "Oh, yes. I don't know your name, sir. Once again, he'll hold out his hand to Stephanos and he'll say, but I sensed your awakening.
Yes, Stephanos Argyris. He does pronounce his own name correctly, I swear. And he'll shake Siren's hand.
You'll see
kind
once
of,
again the horrible disfigurements.
This character ain't so good with the empathy and expression and such, but he does have high perception. So yeah, he notices that, and he can't help but look, but he doesn't stare.
Mm-hmm.
Also, we have a
what's up, Ben?
What's up? I'm only in for a little while. We're getting officially kidnapped later.
I mean, is it being kidnapped for fun things?
Yeah, birthday stuff.
Hurrah! Oh yes, happy birthday, by the way. Sorry, I forgot it was your birthday. You find yourself in, once again, we're going with the ancient and honorable logic of you were grey until you were needed. You are standing currently in the Arcane Library of Dublin, which is located in its own pocket horizon realm that is accessible through a bar, because of course it is. It is a massive library that appears to go for miles in every direction. You are currently meeting with the curator and the head librarian of the library, a man named Siren, who is pictured here. He appears to be, from what everyone has seen, he is incredibly weak physically, like he can't move his chair, and he appears to be very, very ill or very, very injured. So people are just currently talking with him. So we can have Dr. L standing in the background until he gets around to speaking to her. That's probably the best idea. He will then extend his hand to the new virtual adept, and he'll say, "As mentioned, my name is Siren. It's very nice to meet you."
You too, Siren. I am Kevin Warwick. Please call me Kurzweil. Yes, I'm very new around here.
Oh, well, don't worry. Eventually all new things become old. It's just a matter of time.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Do you accept his handshake?
Huh?
Do you accept his handshake?
Oh, yes. He is exceedingly gentle.
I was going to say, once again, you'll notice the horrible disfigurements on the hands and on the wrists.
His eyes will go along, but he's not going to stare.
And at that point, he will turn and he will say to Dr. L, as she's the last one, "It is also very agreeable to meet you, young lady."
You can call me L if you wish. I have reasons for... I'm trying to think of the word because it escaped my brain again. I have reasons for keeping my identity confidential.
Ultimately, we all wear masks. Many of these masks are our own creation. However, some of them are necessary illusions. They are all things that we do in order to keep ourselves safe. I understand the need for masks. So
She nods quietly.
he will very, very delicately pick up some papers on his desk. He'll kind of arrange them, tapping them down, and he'll say, "So, my apologies. I should issue some of you with library cards. One moment, please." You'll see him start to write very painedly on the pieces of paper because he has to move his wrists to write. So it's very, very slow scratching noises. There we go. That is one for Mr. Grant. He will say as he pushes it across the table. As he does so, the piece of paper sets itself to flame until only a black card with your name on it remains as he pushes it across the table. He will do the same for each one of the new people. And he will say, "I hope that you enjoy your stay in the library, and I hope that one day you will contribute whatever works you yourself may either write or find to our archive so that we may continue to educate on even after We are all long since gone.
I'll do my best.
He'll smile very, very slightly. My apologies. Is there anything else that you required of me?
I mean, I think everyone.
I need to talk.
Sorry, go.
Yeah, Sketch to say, taking a breath. I need to talk to you when you have the time, in private.
Oh, I see. He'll kind of look and he'll quirk his head inside and he'll say, "Can I ask what it's about?"
Some personal business.
Okay. I can most assuredly attempt to do that.
I'll try and be as easy as I can. He'll give a really gentle smile, like, I don't want to stretch it out too much, man. You know, that type of stare.
Yes. For the record, guys, I know that I might look like hell that's been literally warmed up, and yeah, I kind of feel like that, but can I just point something out? So, he looks at each of them in turn from his high back chair, and he'll say, "You know that each of your lives is inherently precious. The fact that you, through whatever methodology you have been able to open your eyes to the truth, to the world, to the writ, to the Lord, to whatever you want to say, is inherently special. And I hate the fact that I now have to hear today or yesterday that a good man died because, you know, basically Paradox sucks. That is the entire reason that a friend of ours is dead. Not because he did something great, it's not because he did something wrong, it's because the nature of reality was just like, no, but fuck you today. And that's why he's dead. So, I'm not a person who gets very sentimental over a lot of things, but if you guys need some of your expenditure, whatever the fuck you want to call it, docs, research, anything dealt with, I am happy to help. And I'm not going to lose more of your faces simply because the world decided to flip you the bird today. Am I understood?
Yes, sir. Thank you. That's appreciated.
She nods quietly.
God damn it, someone, you are not Shea Goroth,
Yep.
accepted.
Do you have your library card?
Thank you very much, Master Siren.
You're very welcome. I don't get people sometimes. They look at me.
I don't get people a lot of the time.
You're telling me.
It's one of those things. Stephanos did technically come here to talk to the librarian. Now he's like, oh, no, librarian has other things to deal with. So instead he's just like, you're obviously busy, but is there your assistant, the little glass one? Would he know where to find a specific book?
What is it you're looking for?
Something. Well, I as said, I'm new. I'm trying to determine what the, I suppose the word is fellowships or traditions. That's the actual word.
Yes. By all means, he will very very painfully, actually not casually, raise his hand, and you will see another one of the automatons, slightly bigger, walk into the space, and he will say, "Please fetch Mr. My apologies, I've forgotten your last name.
Argyris.
Please fetch Mr. Argyris the Compendium of the 9 Magical Traditions, if you would be so kind." The little one will bob and nod before he will putter out the door.
Stephanos clearly feels bad, like even asking. He's like, "Oh God, I should just go out there and try and find it myself." He doesn't realize sad times would occur.
Yeah, you might meet an orangutan going the other way.
Kurzweil will kind of float over to Stephanos and be like, "Yeah, I'd like to borrow that after you're done with it, please."
We have more than one copy.
Oh, fantastic! Thank you.
Not a problem. At least the library has returned to a sense of peace and normalcy. I suppose for that I can be thankful. And for that, as I said, I owe many of you a debt of gratitude. Though I'm led to understand my father has already expressed said gratitude to you all.
He nods. Yeah, he did.
He's not a man who's easily impressed, so, you know, I'm pretty sure that that's a legitimate kudos to you guys. Well, he'll say, if no one else has anything they need to discuss with me, I can take sketches. Whoa, loud noises.
Noises.
He'll look at Sketch and he'll say, is that agreeable if you want to have that conversation with me?
Just nods. Yeah.
He attempts to move his own chair back. Failure is had.
Dr. L will actually go to try and help him.
Oh, thank you. He will stand up very shakily, leaning on his cane, and he will kind of move his head in a kind of a way that shows Sketch, follow me, as he very carefully hobbles off. No worries.
Follow him.
They will walk the other direction to where the bishop brought you, and he'll say, "Very well, Sketch. What can I do for you?"
There's something I need to talk to you about. Some perspective and some advice.
I'm pretty good at perspective and somewhat good at advice, so by all means, lay it on me.
He'll sit down very gently. Lottie and Eliza took me and Jewel to the Danae Chantry, or what was left of it.
Mm-hmm.
And they showed us what happened. And part of me...
I will point out for those of you involved that they did walk away, and if any of you attempt to eavesdrop on them, you will have to make rolls, and Siren will oppose these rolls.
And sad times will occur.
Okay, I'm going to have to get going really soon, but one thing Dr. L will do before she leaves is leave one of her laptops on one of the desks with some information on it.
Okay, that's entirely fine. As you leave, and this will be for all of you, as you leave, a Siren's business card will appear in your wallet.
Yay.
Cool. All right, I'm out, East. Later.
Talk to you later, Ben. Bye.
Keep your body clean, your mind dirty.
But he'll say, so they showed you various different things.
Yeah. They did.
Mm-hmm.
There was a part of me that wanted to join and help that cause, you know? Because it's awful. But I can't, he just spreads his hands and rubs his face. This is the only thing I've known, being in the cult of ecstasy. It's the only thing I feel connected to. I want to help the people that I care about, but I don't know how to.
The cult is a dance. like life is a dance. Everything is in the moment. The moment is beautiful because it is just a moment. So, look, what happened to the Danae is a terrible tragedy. But then again, unfortunately, and as much as we try to forget it and brush it away, what happens to mages, wizards, whatever the fuck you want to call us? Our libraries, he'll pat the wall, are full of tragedies. You can't open your heart and let it bleed for every sin that's ever been committed, or it will destroy you. Even if they're vivid, and even if they're real, and even if they're put right in front of your face, if you let yourself feel you are responsible or culpable or need to help everything, then it will simply break you. Because unfortunately, you know, when you did, do you know why pride was the last of the sins that you guys faced?
Shakes his head.
Because pride is the mage's sin. Hubris. We think that we're better. We think that we're more enlightened. We think that we're quasi-divine from time to time. And it's in moments like that that our hubris drags us down into the mire of our own deprecation and depredation. So, look, you're one of us. You're like myself, and you're like Lottie. Ultimately, Lottie says that she's this, that, and the other, and that's the dance that she's dancing, but she's still dancing the dance. So if you feel that you want to go and join them and you want to help make it right, that doesn't mean you have to stop being one of us, because you're still dancing the dance. You're just dancing it in a different place, under a different roof, but you're still dancing. That makes sense?
Nod slowly. It's just a chance, you know? It's a chance to actually do something. I'd rather take it.
You don't need my permission to go. You just need to always be you. And as long as you're always dancing the way that you wish to, and as long as you hear the music that you wish to find your soul to, you're still as much a member of the cult as I am. Doesn't matter where you go. Doesn't matter if you join. Think about these people as, right, there's two of them. They're not a craft. There may be a cabal. Think about it like joining a cabal.
Nods. I just wanted someone to understand. He kind of looks down all embarrassed.
He'll put his hand on Sketch's head and he'll say, unlike my dad, I'm not your priest. I'm not going to minister to you, but I'm always happy to give advice, because realistically, sometimes you just need someone to push you in the right direction, even though you already know what direction that is.
All right. Smiles. If you need anything, by the way, I can stop over and help out here. You know.
It's all right. He'll look down at the terrible wounds on his hands and he'll say, unfortunately, some of the damage they inflicted is proving very difficult to deal with, even with magic. So I don't know how long it'll be if I'm ever back to what I was, but I'm coping.
Just a nod. I think we all are.
It's all about one step at a time, and hoping that we make it to tomorrow.
Thanks. I needed that. Stand up a bit prouder in himself. And we'll kind of help Siren back to the group as well, if that's where Siren is going.
He is. He's probably going to get help to be bimbled back to the group. He will be forcibly bimbled in that general direction.
But at least he's not wumbling.
True. He's a kind of a slow hobble. If you were to see his feet, you'd see the fact he has the same horrible scar marks on his ankles.
Ouch.
Well, I mean, you guys who saw him, remember, he was literally crucified.
Yes.
But he will he will sit back in his chair, and he will take a sip of some kind of whatever drink Jewel has opted to pour him, to steady himself, to kind of get the kind of the nerve that strong alcohol generally gives you.
It's not the most alcoholic thing, because obviously he's still injured, but it's boozy tea. A little bit of brandy in it.
You look around to those gathered, and you'll say, "My sincerest apologies, but I was dealing with my traditions business. So, is there anything that any of the rest of you require from me?"
Yes. No, very much appreciated.
No, I was mostly here so Stephanos could find the information he wanted as unbiased as possible.
Oh, I see. Okay. Well, in that case, please feel free to peruse the library. If you need me, you just have to call, though it might be slightly slower getting there than usual.
Yuki will
If you need
bow
anything.
again.
Would it Stephanos actually is kind of curious, and he's like going to, only because Siren seems extremely friendly and not likely to get too angry with him. He just says, if I might ask,
Siren's resonance, for example, I just used to point this out. His father has a very calming resonance. Siren has a very, very inviting kind of "I am your friend" kind of resonance. That kind of comes from him.
Makes sense. Okay, so that would actually encourage this. He's going to say, you as you say, your injuries seem to be severe. You are having trouble getting around. He kind of gestures around the library. Would it help if you had something to assist you in that?
Oh, I can move when I require to do so. He will very, you'll see him, he'll say something or his lips will move, at which point he is now standing directly behind you, Stephanos.
Okay.
Well,
that was impressive.
Movement is not really the issue. It is more the fact that I am still very weak from my harrowing ordeal.
He'll nod. Like that seems to be a polite way of Siren going, "Nope, don't need any help, but thanks for offering." So he's going to take it that way.
He will say, "I have no doubt that you will prove to be worthy of your name, if it helps."
If I may be so blunt as to ask, who did all of this to you, Siren, and why?
It's complicated. One rate will say that it's very, very complicated.
Yes. It would be a very long story, and not one that I wish to really go over, if you will forgive me.
That's just fine. I hope you get well soon, and for what it's worth, I'm sorry.
Unfortunately, once again, he'll say as he hobbles back to his chair, what they did is proving difficult to heal, even with some very powerful sorcery. So we shall simply have to see how it goes in due time.
Well, well.
He'll smile as he leans forward in his chair, looking over his stack of papers, and he'll say, "Well, I am still able to do my job and to perform my function, so I am still relatively happy and sanguine. However, it does mean that I need to now look more seriously into the finding of my replacement, etc., should the worst happen." The library must always have its custodian. I was not its first custodian, and I will not be its last. However, it must always have one.
Well, I'm always willing to learn.
I have no doubt of that, Mr. Lear. I have no doubt of that. We all have to learn constantly, don't we?
Indeed. But, I need to be going. Business calls.
Yes. I think that this is an excellent place to end this little soiree. I shall no doubt speak to you again soon. It has been a pleasure to meet those of you who I have just met, and it is very agreeable to see those of you whose faces that I have not seen in some time. Thank you for paying me this little visit.
You're welcome,
Thank you for
Siren.
allowing us back.
I hope to see you again in the future.
I hope to be seen again in the future if it helps.
I'm certain you will.
It was a pleasure. Oh, go ahead.
Winrate will bow to Siren, shake his hand, and then say, "I'll be in touch."
I will see you later.
He will make his exit.
Yep. Here's boss wishes him safe paths, and then he sits down and reads his copy of the traditions book.
I assume not in the office, though, right?
No.
Okay. Stephanos, he will take his copy of the book, politely bid Siren good evening, and head out once Yuki's ready to go.
Oh yeah, no, Yuki's just been waiting for him.
Okay.
Mr. Gallo is looking keen to actually get on and use the library while he's here.
That's entirely fine. To answer your question, the library is pretty well laid out, and if you ever need anything, you can always just ask one of the servitors. They tend to point you in the right direction.
Okay. Well, I'll ask one of the servitors. I'm looking for any records you have of Grand Tribunals of the early 11th century, most specifically the Grand Tribunal of 1011. I'm not making anything to hide that.
That would be in the grand. That would be located in the Grand Codices, which are located on the 12th floor, second level.
Thank you.
At this point, however, I am going to end the scene as Evan is actually getting really tired because of his medication. So it is getting more and more difficult for me to hold cohesive conversation. So thank you, players, for playing. Thank you, watchers, for watching. This has been another Scene in Darkness in Dublin. Have a lovely evening.